All right, you guys. So I really hope that you enjoyed that video on margin of error that you just watched. Um, I thought you did a nice job of just trying to give you an overview of what we're talking about. And now we're just going to jump right in and look at actually how do we kind of solve some of these problems. All right, I'm going to do my best to give you an example of the different types of problems that you might encounter in Delta Math. If for some reason you are assigned a problem when you're here working in Delta Math that I have up here on the right, and you're just like, I don't think Ms. Barfield has covered it. That could happen, and I don't mean for that to happen, but take a picture of it, um, and just maybe come back to that assignment, but take a picture of that problem and send it to me. And if I need to make a quick video on how to solve that problem, I will. Delta Math it's a great tool, but it's also got an algorithm to it, and a problem might sneak in that I wasn't anticipating. And I try really hard not to do that to you guys, but it can happen. So if you ever need help while you're working on these, let me know. All right, so let's look at the question we've got here over on the right, okay? And I know some of you are like, why is she reading the problem to you? Some people need to hear me read the problem, okay? So that's just why I do that. All right, so it says a survey was given to a random sample of residents of a town to determine whether they support a new plan to raise taxes in order to increase education spending. All right, so that's our first sentence. Next, the percentage of people who said they supported the plan, I think that should be right here. There should be a Y. So let me start that again. The percentage of people who said they supported the plan to raise taxes was 49%. The margin of error for the survey was 3%. Write a confidence interval for the percentage of population that favors the plan. Okay, so if I'm over here and I am showing my work, but this is also your notes for today, okay? But this is exactly how you would show your work when you do problems on your own. All right, so I need a confidence interval, all right? So confidence interval. And that interval has to have 49% in the middle. So I need a value that will start the interval, okay? And then I need a value that will end, okay, the interval, because I'm being trapped between, all right? And if you notice down here at the bottom in Delta Math, right here, if you can see my mouse moving, okay, you have this, it's actually called an interval. And I know it looks like parentheses, but in this case, it's an interval. All right, so this is really super easy, okay? The margin of error was 3%. So that means I subtract 3% here, which gives me 46%. And then I add 3% here, which gives me 52. All right, and if my computer will cooperate, let's see if it does. I'm going to type in 46 to 52. And then click yes, green check mark, okay? Remember with Delta Math, they will always give you information about how to solve it, and he might actually give you a different approach to solving it, okay? Which is awesome. I love the fact that you'll get my approach, and then you'll get the math professor who actually created Delta Math, you'll get his approach. And sometimes we match up perfectly. All right, so let's look at a different kind of problem you might get. All right. So it says a study by the Department of Education of a certain state was trying to determine the mean SAT scores of the graduating high school seniors. The study found a confidence interval for the mean score to be between 465 and 499. What is the margin of error on the survey? Do not write plus or minus for on the margin of error. And I think that's just because of submitting the problem. Okay. So what they've given me is they've given me my interval, okay? So they've given me my interval that is at 465. We got something in the middle, and we got 499, okay? All right, so how are we going to figure out what number's in the middle, okay? All right, well, let's just go with my first guess. Okay, it's really not my first guess. This is my best educated guess. Okay, sometimes what I like to do on the videos is just see what happens. All right, so I'm going to take 465 and 499. I'm going to grab my calculator over here. Okay, all right, and I like the TI-84. That is my own personal calculator. All right, so 465 plus 499. I'm going to divide that in half. See where I land. All right, so I think, so let's say I'm at 484, okay? So you can see what I did. I took 465, and oh, I typed it in wrong. Oops. 465 plus 499. Let's divide that by 2 and fix my answer. Oops. See, it happens. We all make mistakes. Okay? All right. So that would be, okay, my middle number. Okay. All right. Now I need to figure out how far away I am, and hopefully it's the same distance on each side. So 482 minus 465. So let's say I subtracted 17. All right. I'm going to take 482 and I'm going to add 17 to check my work. Look at that. Okay. So there's my margin of error, plus or minus 17. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to type in 17. And here's the wonderful thing. I might be wrong. Okay. I might be wrong. Yes. And I'm not. Okay. So look, it's the same thing I did. All right. So I hope you'll discover too really quickly that my whole point of making math fun for you guys is to show you that I do make mistakes, right? And statistics is a great place for me to make mistakes. All right, so let's look at one more type, okay, of problem that I think you'll see in these sets of 5 problems, okay? All right, so a survey was given to a random sample of residents of a town to determine whether they support a new plan to raise taxes in order to increase education spending. The percentage of people who said they favored the plan was 54%. The margin of error for the survey was 3.5%. Which of the following is a reasonable value for the actual percentage of residents that support the plan? Okay. All right, well, let's look at my confidence interval, okay, since we don't have that piece of information yet. All right, so 54% is in the middle, and my margin of error was 3.5%. So I'm going to subtract 3.5%. I'm going to add 3.5%, okay? All right, so I'm going to go over here, 54 minus 3.5. So that gives me 50.5%. Now I'm going to add 54 plus 3.5. So I got 57.5%. Okay. All right. And I've got these answer choices. Okay. So it says a reasonable value. All right. So 51.5%. Okay. That actually falls in my confidence interval. Because remember, this is my confidence interval from 50.5 to 57.5. 57.8 is just outside of it. 58.8 is just outside of it. And 49.1 is outside of it, but on the left-hand side. All right, so 51.5% is the only number that falls within my confidence interval. It says, which of the following is a reasonable value for the actual percentage of residents that support the tax plan? Well, it's going to be that value, okay, that should be inside that confidence interval, because that's what it is. When you remember, he was talking about you can go back and tell the mayor, okay, that so many people like you, okay, well, we know that the percentage of people was 54%, but we also have to know that there's that error. All right, so let's see how we did. Yes, look at that. Okay, so same thing, created that confidence interval, and that was the only value in the confidence interval. Okay. All right. So this is how you're going to do those first 5 problems. Okay. Now, I don't remember if I mentioned to you or where I mentioned it to you, but see how these are word problems? Notice I didn't copy anything down in my notes. I don't expect you to copy word problems. Okay. You can, you're more than welcome to if that helps you with your note taking. But in this case, I would probably just make a reference in my notes to go back and watch the video. All right. You know how to contact me. And we're on to video number 2.